is the singing warm-up you need when you are short on time. Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Veronica Kokis. I am a holistic voice teacher who believes that there are no wrong notes when it comes to singing, only opportunities to create, play, and get curious about your voice. Today's video is going to be a quick one. I am going to be sharing a vocal warm-up routine that you can use when you are short on time. Maybe you're getting ready for a voice lesson, or you're on the way to karaoke night, or you're on your way to a gig, and you don't have a lot of time to warm up your voice. This routine is for you because it's going to take less than 10 minutes to do. This routine is a quick one, but it's going to touch all of the bases that you need to hit when it comes to warming up your voice. So let's dive in. First things first, you want to use an SOVT exercise. That stands for semi-occluded vocal tract exercise. And with any of these exercises, whether you're using a straw and you're doing straw phonation, you're doing lip trills, you're doing an open mouth hum, with any of these exercises, they're going to help you produce a clear tone, getting your tone locked in quickly and efficiently and gently. They're very gentle on the vocal folds. And my favorite SOVT to warm up with is actually the open mouth hum on an NG sound. Doing some slides. Touching all the different parts of my range so I can check in with how things are feeling. Now, being honest, I am coming off of a nasty cold and my voice is still it's still recovering. It's still in the recovery process. And these SOVTs, like the open mouth hum, are perfect for that. So maybe you've got a gig, you're on your way to a gig, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm dealing with allergies, I'm coming off of an illness. These SOVTs are going to be perfect for that. And you can certainly use a warm-up track for this exercise or any of the exercises in this video, but you can just do what I did in doing some slides, making sure to hit the high and low ends of your range. Now, if you're having a hard time accessing this sound, I like to use the word sing, sing. That NG sound at the end of the word sing is the sound you're going to use. Though, as I mentioned before, you can use any SOVT. So it doesn't have to be this one. It could be lip trills, or it could be straw phonation. I don't have a straw in hand at the moment, but a substitute for straw phonation and another version of an SOVT is the blowfish, where you're pretending like you have that straw in between your lips and you're humming and blowing through that straw. Making sure you feel that airflow passing through your lips. After you do your SOVT, whether you do the open mouth hum or lip trills or straw phonation, you're going to want to use an exercise that's going to take that nice clarity of tone you were just finding with the SOVT, taking that nice clarity of tone to a vowel sound. Try a syllable like nya, so the word yeah, but with an N in front of it. Try taking that syllable to a scale like this. Nya, 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 nya. So I'm taking that clear tone with the same kind of effort I was using on the SOVT with that open mouth hum, taking that to this exercise. Nya, 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 nya. Making sure I'm not working too hard when I'm singing through this kind of scale. And while working with a scale like this, so either you're working with the piano, or maybe you have warm-up tracks that you like to use, while those tools can be really helpful, if you are rushing to a rehearsal or a performance or a gig and you're like, I don't have a piano, I don't have a practice track that I can use, you can also just use this syllable in the different parts of your range. So we're taking that syllable and transitioning from that clear tone we found on the SOVT to this vowel sound, testing that out in the different parts of the range. So if I didn't have access to a keyboard, if I didn't have access to these practice tracks, which I actually do provide practice tracks as part of my Curious Singer membership within the warm-up library, which you can use on the go. But if you don't have access to any of that, try using that nya sound in your chest voice. Nya, nya, nya. Speaking that a few times because chest voice is where the speaking voice lives. Nya, nya, nya. And then trying that a little bit higher in your head voice. Nya, nya, nya. Nya, nya, nya. And maybe throughout your vocal break, so in the middle part of your range, nya, nya, nya. And maybe even do some slides with that syllable. Nya, 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 nya. You can do this without a piano. You can do it without warm-up tracks. You don't have to have access to those things to warm up your voice in this way. After you've found that clear speech-like tone, I recommend warming up the head voice. As always, having a warm-up track or working with a keyboard is helpful. You don't need those things to warm up your head voice. You can just use sirens like this one. Woo! I'm using this kind of woo sound. I sometimes with my younger singers like to have them imagine they're on a roller coaster with this kind of sound. So you can do a little vocal roller coaster with this sound. Woo! 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 Doing these sirens, you're going to be warming up your head voice and warming up those high notes. And of course, warming up your high notes is super important. It's a super important part of a vocal warm-up. And with these sirens, you are increasing the flexibility in your voice, making sure that your voice is nice and flexible before you go to sing. Now, let's jump to the lower end of the spectrum. Warming up your chest voice is important too, but it doesn't have to be complicated. As I mentioned just a few moments ago, your chest voice is where your speaking voice is, and we use our speaking voice all day long. So warming up your chest voice doesn't have to be a big ordeal. To connect your speaking voice with your singing voice to warm up the chest voice, I like to use a speech-like syllable, like the syllable ick, like someone's just given me the ick, ick. Or I've just eaten something gross or smelled something gross. So I like to take a syllable like that to a scale like this. Ick, ick, ick. Trying to keep it really speech-like so I can warm up the chest voice. Though again, if you don't have access to a keyboard, you can just talk and say that syllable in the different parts of your chest voice. Ick, 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 ick. Kind of touching upon some of the lower end of the spectrum. Once both ends of your vocal range are warmed up, the high and the low, I like to throw in an exercise for the head mix or for a chest belt. So working on kind of finding these speech-like sounds. Now, if you're not sure what I'm talking about when I'm using the term head mix or chest belt, this is actually something we cover in my Curious Singer membership. There's a mini course as part of that membership where I dive all into what head mix and chest belt are. But if you're wanting to warm up this part of your voice on the go, or even if you're just wanting to work on this part of your range, I like to use speech-like syllables. For example, for head mix, I like to use the syllable ow. And saying that in a way and making that sound in a way as if someone has just stepped on my foot. Ow! Ow, ow, ow! And so that can feel a little bit silly, but it shouldn't feel hard. It shouldn't feel like you're using a lot of effort to make that sound. And remembering too that when we're using our head mix, when we're mixing in our head voice, we want to be approaching these sounds as if we're coming out of the higher end of the spectrum. So if you're finding that you're making that sound and you're going, ow, ow, and using your talking voice for that sound, that maybe isn't necessarily warming up your head mix, but more of your chest voice and more of your belt. So that is an alternative, actually. If you are wanting to warm up more of like your chesty sounds, your belty sounds, you can use that same syllable, ow, 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 or hey, hey, hey. calling out to get in touch with those chestier sounds. But again, if you're wanting to warm up your head mix and go that route, coming from above to approach those notes, you're going to want to go, ow, 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 where it's going to feel a little bit lighter, a little bit more flexible. But like I said, if you want to switch it up and go the other route and be a little bit chestier, try the ow, ow, as if you're coming out of chest voice and your low notes, or calling out on the word hey, hey. Both these ows and the hey, both of these sounds are going to warm up your mix. They're going to warm up your belt, and they're going to be able to do that quickly. As always, you can take these sounds into a scale, or you can do them how I was just doing them, where I'm speaking them out of context. But again, with any belting, we don't want this to feel hard. We don't want it to feel effortful. Whether we are mixing, whether we are using kind of more that chesty sound, it shouldn't feel hard. We're not using too much air nor too much effort. Now, if you want to develop those skills, developing your belting skills, you can always work with me through private lessons or through my Curious Singer membership. The links and the information on that are in the description. So, to recap, when you are short on time and you need to warm up, your vocal warm-up should include an SOVT, like an open mouth hum, a lip trill, a straw exercise. It should include an exercise that helps you get that clear tone, getting a clear onset. You need an exercise that warms up your head voice, an exercise that warms up your chest voice, and as an optional exercise, an exercise that's going to warm up your belt. Okay, so I know that all of that sounds like a lot when I spell it out like that, but I can promise you that if you are going through this routine, it's going to take you less than 10 minutes. I think on average for me, if I'm trying to go through my warm-ups and I don't have a lot of time to do them, it probably takes me between 7 and 8 minutes or so. I hope this routine helps you feel more confident and comfortable with your voice, especially on those busy days when you don't have a lot of time to sing and warm up. Let me know your thoughts on this, and if you have singing questions of your own, feel free to drop those in the comments, since I do read the comment section. And until next time, happy singing, y'all.